Hi Tigers, Mr. Payne here, and today we're actually going to do a story time with Mr. Payne. We're not just going to say it's story time and do something completely different, it's actually a story time with Mr. Payne. So, to find the story we're going to read, just log on to Epic Books, so here's the website. We've got our class code, NKP0528, so I'm going to click on that, or type that in, and then I'm going to find my own account. So here's everyone's names, and I've got a guest one down here just for me. Now, you can find the book for searching the word brain. B-R-A-I-N. Not Brian, brain. Very different words. If you click on show more, there's lots of different books down here all about brains. The one we're looking for is this one here, The Baffling Case of a Battered Brain. And I'm going to read through this over the next few days so you eventually can hear all the story. It might take a bit more than a few days, but we'll get there eventually. This is all about learning about how our brains work and looking through history at how different people thought our brains work. So it's quite interesting. It's quite strange at times. The first chapter is kind of just a bit of an introduction, but let's do some reading through it. So it says, Clinton and May take on a new GAS mission, a journey across 3 continents and 4,000 years to learn about concussion and the brain. Now, concussion is something that happens if you hit your head really hard. So professional athletes get concussion sometimes, but also normal people like you and me can as well. So it's all learning about what it is and how it happens and why people think it happens. So, Chapter 1, the soccer game. The soccer ball came soaring in from the ring. Clinton Chang, striker and star player for the Knox Middle School Wildcats, bolted past his defender and raced for the goal. The ball arced down. If he timed his jump just right, Clinton could head it through the goalpost and tie the game. He could see it now, the ball slamming into the net, the goalkeeper falling to his knees in frustration, the cheering crowd. Clinton leaps towards the falling ball. But at that moment, a foot looped around Clinton's ankle and tripped him from behind. His body flew forward, out of control. Clinton saw the goalkeeper's knee an instant before it struck his hairline. He spun over and thunked the back of his skull onto the hard turf. Worried faces half blocked Clinton's view of the sky. His teammates, his coach, all of them leaned in, asking questions. Clinton's head hurt. He blinked. The sky was too bright, so he closed his eyes again for a moment. I think he blacked out again. That was Ginny Onking, the wing. I did not, Clinton said, opening his eyes wide and glaring at Jimmy. What's your name? Asked Coach. He was actually Miss Winchell, the art teacher. Clinton Chang? And how many fingers am I holding up? 2. Can you say the alphabet backwards? Z, Y, X, thought Clinton, but the other letters trailed away in a blur. Who tackled me? He asked. Their sweeper, Jimmy said. He got a red card and we got a penalty kick. Now we'll win for sure. Way to put your body on the line, man. Jimmy, please, Coach said. Clinton, the alphabet, backwards. Clinton clenched a fist. I'm going to drill that penalty shot. Not until I checked you out. The alphabet backward, please. Glaring up at her, Clinton said, We don't have time for this. We've got a game to win. Coach Winchell waited, her head tilted to one side. Clinton gave her his best disarming smile. Look, I can do it extra fast. ZYX, a bunch of letters A. Now let's get this game going. He sat up, but his head throbbed and he felt like he might throw up. Without meaning to, he groaned. Ugh. You're coming out, Coach Winchell said. She and Jimmy took hold of Clinton's arms. They hoisted him to his feet and helped him wobble off a field. The watching crowd cheered for him as Coach settled him back on the back bench. What about my penalty kick? Clinton asked, but nobody paid any attention. Out on the field, the 2 teams lined up behind the penalty line, while the goalkeeper from the Pioneers bent over, rubbing his knee. A man, probably the goalkeeper's father, backed away and walked toward the stands on the far side. Your knee, man, and my head, Clinton shouted. The words echoed painfully inside his skull, but he shouted anyway. Go Wildcats! Someone slipped onto the bench beside him. Clinton? Are you okay? Clinton turned to see May Jemison Harris next to him, with her hair swept up in a scrunchie and her brow furrowed in concern. "You're not allowed on this side of the field," he said. "I'm helping Miss Winchell," May said. "I cut up the oranges and I'm handing out water. You want some?" Clinton shook his head. A mistake because his head clanged like a heavy bell. He peered out at the field where Jimmy backed up to take the penalty shot that could be his, Clinton's. Jimmy loped in and shot to the left corner, but the ball was too slow. The keeper dove for it and clutched it to his chest. A wasted chance. "I'd have made that shot," Clinton said to May. Coach Winchell walked in front of him. "Hey," Clinton said, "when am I going back in?" Coach turned to look at him. "Let's give Rahul a chance at striker, shall we?" she said. "Maybe you can go back after the half." The half dragged. May slipped away to her duties. Clinton's team kept losing control of the ball, even with one man out because of a red card. The Pioneers dominated, playing keep away in midfield. The half ended at 1-0. Pioneers. If Clinton's team had ever needed him, it was now. As the team ran off the field, Coach Winchell stood in front of Clinton. "Any symptoms? Headache, nausea, blurry vision?" "I'm fine," Clinton said. Coach looked uncertain. She bit her lower lip and gazed at Clinton. "I wish Coach Kane were here." "Okay, tell you what, why don't you jog slowly up and down the side of the field and we'll see how you feel." Clinton stood up, shook his arms, and began to jog along the grass. His teammates cheered. At first his head throbbed with each jolting stride, but soon enough he was jogging lightly without pain, and his limbs began feeling loose and workable again. Clinton bumped against a man he didn't know. A tall, youngish man who held himself very straight, who had short brown, wavy hair. The man stumbled, then reached out a hand and took hold of Clinton's upper arm, steadying them both of them. "Hey, I know you," the man said. "You're a good kid. I'm Mark Helmet. Remember me?" No," Clinton said. "I've never seen you before in my life." Mark Helmet looked confused for a moment, but then gave his head a shake. "Never mind. Come on, we've got to talk to your coach." He kept hold of Clinton's arm as they walked. Helmet's gait had something wrong with it, some kind of sideways lurch with every other step. Maybe he's drunk, Clinton thought. Coach Winchell, who had been instructing the team, looked up at Mark Helmet. She dismissed the team, and they gathered around Clinton. "You're coming back in, man. We need you. Come on, suck it up. Just one more half." But past his teammates, Clinton heard disturbing words from Mr. Helmet, who bent his head and spoke down to the shorter coach, saying things like concussion, risk of further injury, 2 weeks at least, subtle symptoms. Coach blinked her big brown eyes at Mr. Helmet and nodded earnestly. Clinton clenched his fist. "Of course I'm going in. No one can stop me." But in fact, someone could. When the whistle blew to mark the start of the second half, Coach said, "You're sitting this one out, Clinton. I'm sorry. Your health is more important than any game." "My health?" Clinton objected. "I'll explode if I have to sit here and watch our team blow it." "In that case," Coach said seriously, "I think you should go inside. May, can you help Clinton find a nice quiet classroom where he can put his head down and rest? And stay with him, won't you? And make sure you can wake him up every 10 minutes or so." "No," Clinton said hastily. "I can watch the game." But the game was painful to watch. The Wildcats just couldn't seem to pull together without Clinton. They made sloppy passes, their fast breaks were slow, and the defence broke down. With 5 minutes to go, they were 2-0. They were down 2-0. "Coach, let me go in," Clinton pleaded. "I feel fine. I can turn this around." But Coach shook her head. The final whistle blew, and the Wildcats came off the field looking dejected. A couple of them said to Clinton, "We needed you, man. You should have come in. With you where, we could have taken them down." Then Coach sent the team for a last run around the field, but when Clinton stood to join them, she shook her head at him. "You stay sitting down." "It's not fair," Clinton said to May, who was gathering orange peel from the grass and putting it in a garbage bag. "We could have beaten them. The Pioneers foul me and I'm the one Coach punishes." "She wasn't punishing you," May said. "That guy Mark somebody told her she shouldn't let you go in." "Yeah, that guy Mark Helmet is bad news," said a voice behind Clinton. Clinton jumped. There, on the bench beside him, sat a red-headed kid with big shoulders who looked like he might be in high school. Where had he come from? "Jack Kemp, Wildcats football," said the kid. "The question is, who's Mark Helmet to ruin your life? He's a guy who hates sport, that's who. He's trying to ban football from our high school. And he's dishonest as a snake. Say, isn't that him over by the goalpost? Clinton peered towards the goal line, where the tall, awkward figure of Mark Helmet stood talking to another man. Wait a minute, May said. That guy he's talking to. That's the goalie's father from the other team. I knew it, Clinton said, getting to his feet. He's in cahoots with the Pioneers. He told Coach to keep me out so they could win. I'm going to talk to him. He turned to invite Jack Kemp along, but the football player was gone. May said, I don't think you should. But Clinton was already winding his way among spectators on the sideline, heading to confront Mark Helmet and accuse him. May caught up with him. Clinton, I really think he just... Look at that, Clinton said. Just look at that. He pointed. The goalie's father had opened a small leather billfold and was writing on something inside. He tore out a rectangle of paper and handed it to Mark Helmet. The goalie's dad is giving this Helmet guy a cheque. Helmet's taking bribes to throw games right here in the middle of the field. Clinton Chang! Coach's voice rang out behind him. You sit down right now! Coach caught hold of Clinton's arms. Coach, that Helmet's guy is a crook, Clinton protested, but Coach ignored him, pulling his arm. Clinton cast a desperate look at May. Follow them, May. Dizzy with rage, Clinton let Coach drag him back to the bench. Then Coach made him phone his mum to come pick him up. Jimmy Onking brought Clinton his backpack and clothes from the locker room, so he didn't even have to go inside and change. Clinton waited on the bench, furious at his teammates for losing, at Coach for keeping out of the game, and at himself for being so weak. I didn't black out. I didn't. It can't be a concussion if you don't black out, he said, but no one appeared to hear him. Most of all, Clinton fumed at that cheating, bribe-taking, interfering drunkard, Mark Helmet. May slid in next to him on the bench. I just can't believe it, she said. You were right. That Mark guy just kept standing there, so I followed the other guy, the goalie's dad. He went right back to the bleachers, and up to this woman in business clothes who must be his wife. And she said, What did you give him here? And you know what he said? What? Clinton demanded. He said, I wrote him a cheque for $500. I really liked how he kept that kid out of the game. Clinton jumped up to his feet. I knew it! I just knew it! $500 to throw the game. I'm going to find that Helmet guy. May, I'm going to show him what it means to be a double-cross Clinton Chang. A nice kid, that's what he called me. Well, just wait till I show him how nice I really am. You're frightening me, May said. You can't just charge off and attack people. Think, Clinton. We need evidence. A voice spoke behind them. You both need to back off a parsec and cool down below fusion temp. Clinton May whirled around. There, on the grass, Selectra Volt, Dudette from the future, wearing her usual outfit of pink and green that matched her spiked hair. She shook a finger at them. Selectra, Clinton said. Sorry, Dudette, this is not the time. Exactly what I was about to say, Selectra scolded. If you don't stop popping off your thermal tiles, Clinton, you'll burn up on re-entry. It's bad enough you play this head-banging game. What's she talking about, May? Clinton said. Selectra said, Football, isn't it? I've read about this football sport you Neanderthals used to play. Used to? Clinton said. May said, Actually, this is soccer. Clinton said, Out of our way, Selectra. We're on the trail of a criminal. Selectra lifted a hand-holding device that looked like a smartphone. You don't know enough to evaluate and pursue this matter, she said. Not until you take on another mission. Clinton hesitated. Nothing was cooler than going on a mission for the Galactic Academy of Science. He and May had already captured a thief and uncovered a vaccine scandal. The mission won't take any time, right? I mean, I need to get back in time for me to go after this Helmet guy and nail him before he leaves town or something. He held out his hand for the time travel device. Selectra shook her head. You're not leaving right away, Clinton. You're going home and resting up. Early bedtime, no running around, no computer or video games, no homework, just rest. Sunday afternoon, are you both free then? Sunday afternoon. May will go to your house with the XPA and you can start your mission. Agreed? May nodded, and Selectra handed her the Expedition Personal Assistant, or XPA. Then she ran through the rules and warnings of the Galactic Academy of Science again. How to use the XPA, how not to run out of power, how to translate, and a final restriction against telling people off of the past about the future. Clinton zoned out until Selectra turned back to him and said, "Stupendo amoeboid about the game, Clinton, but maybe next year, you know? And now I'm off. Planets to visit, scientific discoveries to safeguard. Ta-ta!" With a wave and a twirl, she was gone. "Where are we going?" Clinton said, crowding close to May. May showed him the XPA. Its blank grey face stared at him. He took it from her, shook it, punched away at phantom buttons, turned it over, but nothing made the screen light up. "It's broken," he said. "She tricked us." May said, "I bet it turns on Sunday afternoon. Clinton, I think you better do what Selectra said. Rest up. Maybe this is going to be a really hard mission." A car drew up next to a field, and Clinton's mother came running across the grass, her stiletto heels aerating the lawn, her arms outstretched. "Oh man," Clinton said, "I'm about to be smothered." May backed up, saying, "I'll see you Sunday," and then Clinton found himself squeezed against his mother's chest while her worried voice sounded in his ear. And that is the end of chapter 1. Now, I'm going to read some more of this another day. I'm going to get through all the story eventually, but there's a few things in there that you might not be sure about. So, first thing you need to know, this is actually part of a series of books, and this character, this character, Selectra, is a character from the series, and she's a time traveller who basically goes back in time and looks after different things to do with science. So she's a bit of an important character. And our two other main characters, we've got Clinton and we've got May, are people from today, modern times, who go back and help with these missions. So at some stage in this story they're going to go back and find out what's been happening in the past. Another little point is we've got this idea of a concussion. Now, a concussion is something that happens if you hit your head really hard, like I said at the start of the video. And they're not very nice. It's not just a little bump to the head. It's where you hit your head and it takes you quite a lot of time to get back ready and back to normal. So, if you have a concussion, it's important to really slow down, take some rest, and usually go to hospital and get it checked out as well. So, at a minute, we've got our character Clinton, who might have got a concussion, and he's trying to figure out if it's real. He doesn't think it's real. What might happen with that in the future, especially if he goes time travelling. I can imagine that's not very good for his head. I'm going to upload this video on Wednesday, so Wednesday the 10th, and I will upload another video each day, hopefully. If I miss one, I'm sorry. It's probably because I've been busy with work and it's difficult to find time to record all the clips. But I'll try and upload a different one to YouTube and to Google Drive each day, and I'll email it out to you as well on the starting day so you know where to find them all. I hope you've been okay, cheaters. It's been really good seeing some of you in school, and I will see you again tomorrow for the next chapter of our book. Bye.